for watching CNN 10, your daily source for global news explained. I'm Carl Azuz. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a revised executive order concerning immigration to the United States. It makes some changes to his previous order, which was issued in late January and afterward put on hold by U.S. courts. Here's what's different this time around. The original order temporarily banned people from 7 countries from entering the U.S. 6 of these countries are still on the list. People from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen are suspended from entering America for 90 days. But Iraq is no longer listed. Its government lobbied hard to be removed from the list, and it'll work more closely with the U.S. on how it vets, how it investigates people emigrating from Iraq. In the new order, people who hold current visas, permission to travel to the U.S., are allowed in. And refugees from Syria, who were banned indefinitely under the previous order, are now temporarily suspended for 120 days. In fact, the U.S. refugee program itself will be suspended for 120 days. The Trump administration says this is all about national security, and that about 300 people who've entered the U.S. as refugees are now the subjects of FBI counterterrorism investigations.
We cannot compromise our nation's security by allowing visitors entry when their own governments are unable or unwilling to provide the information we need to vet them responsibly, or when those governments actively support terrorism. This executive order responsibly provides a needed pause. So we can carefully review how we scrutinize people coming here from these countries of concern.
But critics like the International Rescue Committee say the new order won't make America safer, but that it'll only harm refugees. The American Civil Liberties Union says the new order has the same flaws as the last one and calls it a ban on Muslims. That's something the White House denies, saying hundreds of millions of Muslims are not subject to the order. The Trump administration says the new rules will be phased in after 10 days. From North Korea, 4 missiles launched on one morning. It happened yesterday. It got what's becoming a familiar response from the international community. Officials called it provocative, illegal. They said it must be stopped. But that looks like the last thing North Korea is willing to do. Monday's test apparently involved 4 medium-range missiles that worked and a 5th that failed to get off the ground. They flew about 620 miles toward the Sea of Japan, also known as the East Sea. Japan's president said they landed within 200 miles of his country's coastline. And experts say what all this means is that North Korea is speeding up its weapons program, taking only a third of the time it used to take to develop and test-fire missiles. The U.S. is an ally of Japan and South Korea. It's had a military presence in South Korea since fighting stopped in the Korean War in 1953. The White House says it's deploying a missile defense system to South Korea to protect against threats from the north. Those threats appear to be increasing.
More than 20 missile launches, 2 nuclear tests, and a satellite launch seen the world over as a long-range missile test. Never in North Korea's history has the testing been as fast and furious as it was last year. Monday's missile suggests a return to business as usual. Kim Jong-un is in a rush. Experts say he will not ease up until he can truly threaten the United States.
It's only a matter of time until the North is able to successfully launch a long-range missile tipped with a nuclear device aimed at the U.S.
North Korea describes itself as a nuclear state, a term Washington says it will never accept. One policy, at least, the Obama and Trump administrations agree on. President Trump believes China must do more to rein the country and its leader in. But the more North Korea tests, the more it improves. The next 4 years are crucial. So what options does US President Trump have?
Do you negotiate and try and get some kind of freeze, which is politically considered unacceptable in Washington? Do you step up sanctions, which so far haven't worked? Do you take military action, which leaks from Washington in recent days have suggested are on the table? All the options are bad.
This man knows the regime well. Tae Yong-ho was the number 2 in North Korea's London embassy before he defected last summer. He says Kim Jong-un does want a new relationship with President Trump, just as long as it's on his terms.
He will never give up his nuclear development.
A nuclear program that's Kim Jong-un's insurance plan against what he calls hostile US policy. Frequent claims that if the US were less threatening, North Korea would have no need for its program.
10-second trivia. Which of these is known as the last great race? Iditarod, Kentucky Derby, Monaco Grand Prix, or Ironman Triathlon? The Iditarod, a sled dog race across Alaska, is called the last great race on Earth. Mushers and their teams of dogs got off to a delayed start yesterday. They were given an extra day to travel because the starting line was moved from Anchorage to Fairbanks, 300 miles north. Why? There wasn't enough snow in Anchorage for the race. It's the third time in 15 years that's happened. The 1,000-mile Iditarod follows a historic trail through the Alaska Range. Over 100 years ago, dog sleds were used to carry supplies and mail from Alaska's southern coast to mining camps in the Northwest. And while planes have handled most of that work since the 1920s, getting on a sled now is a thrilling step back in time.
I'm CNN meteorologist Derek Van Dam, and we're in Steamboat Springs at the Grizzle T Dog and Sled Works. You're probably wondering why I've got all this equipment on, because we're gonna go dog sledding. I'm standing next to a legend who has actually done the Iditarod in Alaska. What was your experience like? When did you do it? And how grueling
2011 was the last time I did it. I ran a puppy team. We took 2 teams up from Steamboat.
Is mushing the correct word?
I think we'll call it mushing for today.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Be an official musher and go dog sledding.
Hey, this is Crosby, and he's actually run in the Iditarod in Alaska. He's actually my team leader today, and he looks pretty fast, don't you think? Come on, Crosby! Come on, Schmiegel! Let's do it, boys! All right! Are these dogs happy? Do they enjoy pulling a human on a sled?
You know, they love that more than anything else. It's pretty much what they live for. The best analogy I can give you, Derek, is kind of like a lab with their ball, right? As soon as your lab sees that ball, he's wagging his tail and won't settle it down until you throw it, right? Same thing with these guys. As soon as we break out their harnesses and hook them up, you are going to see they are elated and want nothing more than to just pull you around.
Whoa! Schmiegel, Crosby, Young. Good boys, good girls. Oh, thank you, boys. Thank you, girls. That was a fantastic experience. I want to do it again.
Always get a lot of positive feedback when we air segments about heroes. And CNN is now accepting nominations for the 2017 CNN Heroes. In the months ahead, the company will be reviewing the nominees, producing the reports you'll see on our show later this year, and ultimately announcing the Hero of the Year. It starts with simple stories of everyday heroism.
Ready to ride?
Bring it in, girl.
Every year, CNN Heroes honors everyday people doing extraordinary work to change lives.
So proud of you, man.
We've crossed the globe to tell the stories of these amazing heroes.
Come on, go all the way to the end.
But we can't do it without you. We need you to tell us who you think should be a CNN hero.
Look how far we've come in a week. It's fantastic.
You can nominate someone in just a few simple steps. Go to CNNHeroes.com and fill in the form to tell us about your hero.
They came really nicely.
It's that easy. You could help make your hero a CNN hero and shine some light on their amazing work.
Thank you, thank you.
Winning ice cream flavors, cookies and cream, buttered pecan, chocolate chip cookie dough. How about solid gold? A Japanese company that specializes in making gold leaf, that's really, really thin sheets of gold, tried it out as an ice cream topping, and its president says that with no advertising, it became a major hit, with folks lining up to eat an Instagram gold leaf coated soft serve. The cost is $7 a cone, which some say is worth its weight in. We bet it tastes rich, and while other ice creams have ingredients, this one's got an element, y'all. How often should it be on the table? Periodically. And if you're okay with someone meddling with your dessert, you've gotta love the idea, unless you're metallurgic. I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10.